Welcome to the United Way Difference, a program that discusses Oshkosh community needs and how local nonprofit agencies are supporting people in our area. United Way's focus in the areas of income, education, health, and volunteerism helps to build a stronger, more caring, and compassionate community. The United Way Difference is brought to you by the Oshkosh Area United Way.
Hi, welcome to United Way Difference. I'm Sue Ponick. My guests today are Terry Hansen, who is the Executive Director of the Winnebago County Literacy Council, and Julia I said it right the first time.
You're fine.
Frascona,
Yeah.
who is the Education Coordinator for the Winnebago County Literacy Council. And they're here to talk about two specific programs. One is called Road to Work, and the other program is the Family Literacy Program. So welcome to the program.
Thank you.
I know,
Thank you so
Julie,
much.
Julia, this is your first time. Terry, you've been here before, so we're going to say that you're a seasoned veteran. How's that? Terry, I'm going to start with you because we want to talk about, you wouldn't think in this day and age that we would need an organization like the Literacy Council. So why do we need the Literacy Council in our community?
There are so many people that are struggling with reading and other skills that need help. And what we've been able to do here at the Literacy Council is start Road to Work, which helps immigrants and refugees get jobs. We do Readers Cafe, which is for kids. And we're helping kids age 6 to 18 with their literacy skills, reading and practicing out loud, and it's really, really fun.
And that's a partnership.
Right, with the Boys and Girls Club of Oshkosh.
Okay, another United Way funded program.
And so we do tutoring too to help our English language learners and to help our community members and kids that are struggling with reading or literacy.
Okay, and particularly the program that Julia, that you're working on, works with the refugee population.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, actually both of them do.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, Terry, I think you're going to start with the Road to Work program. And I want to let our guests know that throughout the program, we're going to be flipping through some pictures. And so we'll try to describe those pictures as much as we can so that it's just not you looking at us talking. But tell us why we do the Road to Work program and then what it is.
Okay. We do the Road to Work program because refugees, when they come into our country, don't understand how to go about getting a job. They don't even know what skills they know their skills, but they don't know what skills and what job in America would equal the same thing.
Oh, so how their skills would translate to a job in America.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so what our program does is we help them learn the skills they need to not only apply for a job, but to obtain employment and retain it.
Okay, we have a photo. Can we go back one photo to the sushi bar? We have a photo there with this young lady. I assume had gotten a job working at the sushi bar.
Yeah, she got a job at one of the stores working in their sushi department, and then as she got better and better at it, she started her own business.
No way.
Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
what a success story that
That is.
I asked you earlier about success stories, and I just didn't expect that one.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
okay.
And she's young. I mean, she's a young gal.
She looks like she's in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just one success story about a skill that she had that translated very well.
Right.
But I know that we have refugees coming in who have advanced degrees.
Exactly.
But because they don't have their certifications or their documents that prove that they have maybe are an attorney or a lawyer, an attorney or a physician or something like that, they can't practice their skill.
Right.
So then what do we do?
So we have a connection with a organization out of Milwaukee that actually does credentialing for refugees, and they don't charge anything, so we're a partner of theirs. So, but it really depends if they came from a camp, a camp, and
A refugee camp.
right, and their schools were destroyed, they might not ever be able to get their credentials.
Okay.
So it depends on what country they've come from and what is the background.
Yeah.
But are they, even though they may never work in their profession unless they would get credentialed here, which is possible, depending on how old or how young they are they willing to take a number of different jobs, and how does that work?
They take the entry-level jobs.
Okay.
That's what they start with. And we start with them learning English and practicing their English, and a lot of them go to Fox Valley Tech to work on their English skills, and it's really a good thing.
Okay, we have Oksana here working with a gentleman. I want to say, I don't know, it looks like he's working out of a workbook, but he could actually be filling out an application too.
Yes.
So what are some of the things that if they came to the Literacy Council, do they get assessed? I mean, how does all that thing work?
They are assessed, and then if they can speak some English and they want a job, they can enroll in the Road to Work program.
Okay.
And so what Dr. Oksana is doing with these two people is helping them with applications. She actually meets with them one-on-one to coach them. And this is a process that's repeated over and over and over, because remember, they don't speak English very well.
Right.
And so it's really, there's barriers there.
So if they speak English very well, which they could come with good English speaking skills, correct?
Well, not many of them.
Not many? Okay. But if they did, that would be a lot easier for you to get them into a position.
Absolutely.
Okay. So once they get the position that maybe it's that entry-level position, then where do you go from there? I mean, now they're working maybe part-time, maybe full-time. How do they, how much time do they have to be able to learn their English?
We really like to have them stay in our program even though they're working.
Right.
Because through the Literacy Council, we can help them with English language learning through tutoring. And
So that's one-on-one tutoring? Okay.
Yep, and if they're going to Fox Valley Technical College and taking English, then we have a program over at Fox Valley Tech that's called Homework Help. So after their classes, they can come to our session and we can help them with their homework.
Okay, now the classes at Fox Valley Tech, though, those are group classes.
Right.
So you get the one-on-one attention. They give the group classes,
Right.
but basically you complement each other so nicely because they're getting both sides of that, and then you finish up with the homework help.
Right, right.
Okay, so now I've got my job. I'm going to classes. Is there a way that you can help them with their literacy for their very specific job?
Yes, and we have done that. And what Dr. Oksana does is she meets with them one-on-one, and they might bring the employee handbook to her, and then she would go through the handbook and teach them what they need to understand in the handbook so that they know how to be a good employee and to meet the expectations of the employer.
Okay, the picture that we have right now is she's talking about she's introducing them to basically our manufacturing structure here in the United States, where you'd have your workers manufacturing a worker, which maybe be general labor, maybe operating a machine, working on the assembly line, which might be foreign to them, from a foreign concept to them, depending on where they've come from. So, okay, that's my next question then. Where are many of the people coming from?
They come from all over the world. And now, well, they're, our government's trying to sort some of that out, but they used to come from Somalia, Iraq, Syria,
Myanmar.
Yeah, Myanmar.
Okay, I know that we have some people that are coming from Iraq and Afghanistan. I don't know.
And the Congo.
And the Congo. So I don't know if we have as many. So who's eligible for this program, the Road to Work program?
Our program started in 2013 only focusing on refugees.
Okay.
And then we added last year immigrants also.
And tell me the difference between a refugee and an immigrant, because some people might think they're the same.
Well, I don't think I can explain that exactly. I mean, the government deems someone a refugee.
But refugees sometimes, immigrants choose to move here?
Right.
Where refugees come to as a protection?
Right.
Okay, so that would be basically...
They're leaving their country because they fear for their lives.
Okay.
And refugees typically cannot go back to where they came from to their homeland. Political reasons, just civil wars. I mean, refugees are coming to us from really frightening, horrible situations. They can't live in their homeland anymore.
Right.
It's not an option.
Okay. Where immigrants are coming because they choose to come.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but we were talking then about eligibility for the program.
Yeah, so if they're a refugee or an immigrant, they would be eligible for our program.
Oh, okay. And then what kinds of activities? We talked a little bit about some of them.
We have Job Club. Every Monday from 1 to 3, Dr. Oksana has Job Club over at the Workforce Development Center, which is very close to the Oshkosh Public Library.
So I don't know if this is Job Club or not, but it looks like people are either working or they're on a tour.
What we did is we set up a 3-week manufacturing seminar for our workers with Forward Service Corp in September.
Okay.
And so they were touring a factory after.
Okay. So to get a feel what the manufacturing environment is like.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So I'm sorry if I interrupted a little bit more, but some of the other activities you might do, because we talked about in assessing, finding out where people are first,
right? And
then how do you determine what's the next step for them as far as English language learning?
That would be.
What Oksana then focuses on is a client's skill set, their work experience. She gets as much information from them as she can, even with English as English language as a barrier. So she gets as much English information as she can from that particular client, and then she determines what workplace vocabulary they need to know, and then she focuses primarily on workplace vocabulary. Most of our refugees and immigrants are time poor. They don't have a lot of extra time to learn as much as we wish they could learn. So Oksana's focus is primarily on job-related vocabulary, terminology, and routines and protocol. When you work, what do you wear? What do you?
Okay. Being on time.
Yes,
all those
correct.
kinds of things. I would think that there probably is a time that you would need to also just do your basic needs like grocery shopping, those kinds of things as well, but not any of the other stuff.
Right.
Okay. Where is the program located?
Well, we are located in the Oshkosh Public Library on the 3rd floor. That's where the Literacy Council is. And the Workforce Development Center is right around the corner from the Oshkosh Public Library on Washington Street.
So how convenient.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
When people come to you then, how do you know they're ready to take on a job? I mean, how do you know they're ready?
Well, they have to have a basic level of English. And then they express, I need a job.
Right, yeah. And they don't have too long to get their
No,
job.
They don't.
no. So,
Does Forward Services work also with some of the people that you're working
oh
with?
yeah.
Okay. And how do you coordinate those services then? I mean, we've already talked about Fox Valley Tech, we've talked now about Forward Services, we've talked about the Workforce Development Center and you. How do you coordinate that to make sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing?
We have a really close relationship with Forward Service Corp, and Dr. Oksana communicates with them on a regular basis about our clients.
Okay.
And when we share a client together, then we're really communicating a lot about it.
And what I think is really neat about this is Dr. Oksana is an immigrant.
Yes.
Yes, and so I think maybe she will understand some of the challenges that many of our immigrants have. I'm not. I mean, I think she can have a empathy for the refugees, but maybe not the same understanding. But that is really cool. And if somebody wanted to join the Road to Work program, how would they get in touch with you?
So they could either just come to the Oshkosh Public Library on Tuesdays from 10 to noon, come up to the 3rd floor, and one of our employees would help them get enrolled, or they can call her or email her, and her information's on the screen right now.
Okay, and we're going to just spell that out because those of you that are listening on the radio, it's Dr. Oksana, and I'm not saying her last name because it's hyphenated and it's Russian?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to say it. And she's the Road to Work coordinator, but you can call them at 920-236-5218, extension 4830, and we'll repeat that at the end as well. And so we're going to go to break right now, and when we come back, we're going to be talking with Julia about the Family Literacy Program. So stay tuned.
It's not a charity, it's more than a charity. It's about helping people we live with. It's about being the type of person that the 6-year-old version of ourselves wanted us to be. It's about community and looking out for one another. It's about money, yes, but it's so much more than money. It's about friendship and common values. It's about opening doors when others are slammed shut. It's about giving kids a place to be kids and growing up knowing they live in a community that cares about them. It's about making sure that everyone gets to see the dentist, because we want to make sure that they have every last tooth in those smiles. Ultimately, that's it. It's about the smiles, old smiles and new smiles. It's about us, all of us, our community living united, because great things happen when we live united. Will you join us?
Hi and welcome back. I'm Sue Ponick, and with me today is Terry Hansen, who's the Executive Director of the Winnebago County Literacy Council, and Julia Frascona, who is the Education Coordinator at the Literacy Council. So earlier, Terry, we were talking about the Road to Work program, which deals primarily with refugees and immigrants who are trying to get jobs in our community. So Julia, what is the Family Literacy Program all about?
The Family Literacy Program is about bringing parents and their children together, English language learners, together. Our focus is helping the parents be very effective and, well, they're their child's first teacher.
Correct.
So, but we have the English language barrier. So we're trying to get the kids ready for school.
Okay.
So our emphasis is on helping those parents get their children ready for school.
And the side benefit is that the parents learn English.
Yes.
And then maybe can get those jobs that they need.
Exactly.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and there's a lot of overlap.
Right.
So what we we have the parents and the children come together, and we meet at St. John's Church on North Main Street on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12:30 to 2:30. Parents come with their children, and we start each session off with a story is read to them where we help the parents understand and coach their children how to sit and listen to a book being read. Some of those children don't have exposure to the English language, let alone literature. And they're not familiar with the format of sitting and listening. You know, and in kindergarten, you go to kindergarten, you've got to sit in your circle and listen to the story. So we're helping the parents understand what goes on in a school day and how to get their kids ready for that. So we read a story, we talk about the calendar, the weather, and the parents and the kids are together for about 10 minutes. Then the kids sing the parents goodbye. And we take the parents. We take
Too bad
the
I
parents.
didn't know that sooner. I make you do it.
Make me say it. Then the parents leave the child care room, where the child care room is full of toys, and we immerse. Oh yeah, we have a library, definitely. And the children then are immersed in English language play.
Okay.
So we have enough volunteers in the children's part of the Family Literacy Council that most often the children get a one-on-one help.
Okay, this is really such a cool picture, because this is when the children and moms are still there, but it could be dads too, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so and
they're
then
listening to a story right there. That's the beginning of the session.
Okay.
So a lot of times when parents come with their kids for the very first time, the kids just want to play with the toys, and so it takes a few weeks to get everybody used to, we're going to sit here and we're going to read the story. So we're getting them used to routine too, which school is all about.
Right. Well, and it's interesting because they don't speak English, so you're reading them a story and they have no idea what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay. Who does the reading?
Michelle is our early childhood, she's our teacher at Family Literacy for the children's part. And so she does the reading. Sometimes some of the volunteers will step up. Many of the volunteers in our Family Literacy program who work with the kids are former preschool teachers. So it's perfect. It's perfect.
But you know, Terry, we didn't talk about this earlier, but how important are volunteers in your programs?
In all our programs, volunteers are really important. and we always need more volunteers.
I know it. I can't believe we didn't say that.
Yes.
Well, we got time now, so tell me, why do you need more volunteers?
In our tutoring program, we need 63 more people to volunteer because we have kids that need help with literacy, and we also have adults that need help with literacy.
Okay, so you've got like a waiting list of 63 people.
Yes, right now.
Okay, and that's a balance of children and adults.
Yes.
Okay, and that's not necessarily for English language learners, that's for anybody.
Yes, anybody.
Okay, so I think it's important probably to take a break right now just to mention the fact that you do English, or you do literacy for English speakers as well,
Right.
who just need to brush up on their skills,
Right.
as well as the work for the immigrants and refugees. Okay, because I think some people might say, well, I don't know that I could be a tutor if I don't know the language, but they could be.
Absolutely.
For either program,
Absolutely.
whether or not they have an English-speaking student or a non-English-speaking
Yes.
student. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we talked. Who's eligible for this program?
Anyone who wants to come, our door is open. Anyone, we register them when they come. They don't have to let us know ahead of time if they don't want to. We make it very easy. Our biggest barrier at this point is transportation.
Getting people.
It's very
there, sure.
difficult for a mom with 3 wee ones to get on a bus and navigate her way to any of our programs. So transportation is one of our biggest barriers, I would say, at
Okay.
this point.
And
So
is there a cost to either of the two programs, Road to Work
No.
or the Family Literacy
None of
Council?
our programs, we don't charge for anything.
Okay, and I know, Terry, that you extensively write a lot of grants, but how else are you funded?
So we are funded by our Oshkosh Area Community Foundation, of course, the United Way, and we have some wonderful funders in the Valley and even out of state.
Okay. Okay. Back to the Family Literacy Program. So you're at St. John's Church, and you're there Tuesdays and Thursdays for a couple hours.
12:30 to 2:30.
2:30. What now we separated the children and the adults. What do we do with the adults?
Well, with the adults, we are trying to empower them to be the kind of parents they need to be in America in our public school system. And that means they've got to teach their kids some routines. They have to, we want to close the gap between the non-English speaking children that start school, and we want to narrow that gap between them and their peers, their English speaking peers. So we really work on teaching the moms the English language content that's necessary for their child to be ready for school. Does that make sense? Our focus is on making sure that everything we do with them is relevant to or connected somehow to their child being ready for school.
Okay. Now, many of the families have children who are. So, how old are the children that are in the program?
Birth to kindergarten.
Birth to kindergarten. Okay, but once they're past that, they go into school. So, do most of the families understand what our school system is like because they might have children in both? I mean, in your program and in the school system?
No.
Well, I just was thinking about the photo we had earlier where we took the Road to Work people on a tour of manufacturing. Do we take the Family Lit people on a tour of a school?
We have the school come talk to the moms about report cards, conferences, and we also help the mothers with vocabulary so that when there is parent-teacher conferences, they know what questions to ask. We help them sort of script what they might need to say. They'll tell us as best they can what they're worried about their child or what they're noticing, and then we help them come up with those very specific questions and statements for their children. So we teach them how to read a report card. So it's that sort of thing.
Basic skills that need to be for that specific purpose of education.
We also do the school calendar review every month. So we have the Oshkosh Public School calendar where we talk about the early release days, we talk about when there's no school and why. So we talk a lot about the school schedule. And in Oshkosh, the schools start and end at different times depending on which school you go to. So we're aware of which schools our kids go to, so we can help moms understand that. So, and they catch on to that pretty quickly.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the activities and some of the success that you're seeing.
Oh, successes are huge. Right now we are focusing primarily on helping the mothers make materials to then take home and use with their children. So it's
That relate
school
to
readiness.
Okay. Okay.
So alphabet, numbers, counting, rhymes. We're now teaching the moms how to read simple storybooks fluently, so they can then take that book home and actually read it to their children. We teach the moms, we cook. We use the church's kitchen. We cook to familiarize them with American foods that their kids are going to be seeing when they have friends.
Do they cook so that you're familiar with their food?
Yes, we have a potluck 2 or 3 times a year, and they all bring in a dish from their country, and they're adamant about that. That's what they want. They want these potlucks, and they want to share food from their country. So of course, I've eaten some really delicious food. I'll invite you to the next one, Sue.
I would love to. Yeah, I'm all about food. I think it's interesting that we talk about cooking the food that the children will eat, and still not losing the culture from which they've come.
Exactly.
And I think that that's really important, because a lot of times I think when people come to they want to become American, and they give up the culture that they know, and it makes us also rich when we have all those cultures.
Right. So a lot of times when we talk about food and nutrition, we talk about certain foods like vegetables. Maybe we're talking about vegetables. We then try to get the moms engaged in telling us what vegetables they have, what they're familiar with from their country of origin, and how they prepare them. And we talk about recipes. And so, yes, they share a lot of their culture with us as well.
Do you have a particular story that just sticks with you, that you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened?
Yes. We have one mother who whose children are school age now, but she still comes to Family Lit, even though her own children are school age. That's another thing about Family Lit. It's a very social group.
Sure. So
we have some grandmothers there even who they don't bring kids with them, but that's the group they're most comfortable in.
But that whole thing of isolation, let's get rid of that. So
yeah, it's significant.
Right?
And especially if you're a mom of a wee one, even if you speak English, you feel isolated much of the time.
Yeah.
So yes, this particular mom, her children are very successful in school. She comes to us a lot with their report cards and how brilliant. I mean, her kids are they're very smart, but she is very tenacious, and she has taken our family literacy program and all the advantages. She's taken those home and really helped her kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it shows.
It shows, absolutely.
Do dads get involved?
On occasion. We find mostly that the dads are out working. So it's mostly moms. Right now, I'd say for the last 6 to 8 months, it's been only moms, and that's when we can sneak in a guest speaker about women's health.
Okay.
Sure. So we try to take advantage of who we've got in there.
So we talked a lot about language. We talked about reading, but we also talked a lot about language. How do you communicate? I mean, somebody told me that in the Oshkosh School District there are 50 different languages being spoken. 50 different languages. Okay. How do you communicate with somebody who does not speak English and you're trying to teach them?
Well, we get silly sometimes.
And you only have a minute to tell me how you do this.
We pantomime, we act, we over-exaggerate. We have picture dictionaries we use.
We start at the beginning.
We start at the beginning.
A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. The weeks, the months of the year. I mean, just start right at the beginning.
Money. It's overwhelming. And when I first took the job, I had a lot of anxiety about where do you start when someone speaks no English. But I have found that if you just meet them where they are, get to know them, it all falls into place.
Okay. And before we close, again, how would we get in touch with the Literacy Council? And please listen to this number, because I got it wrong the first time. So I'm going to have Julia tell us what the phone number is.
Okay. Again, we're on the 3rd floor at the public library. And our phone number is 236-5219.
5219.
Right. And you can ask for Julia or Terry. I mean, the call will
Oksana.
get to us. Oksana,
Right.
the call will get to us. And we really want more volunteers.
Okay, so
Call
if you
us.
would like to volunteer or if you'd like to get engaged in one of these programs, please give them a call. I'm not going to repeat the number again. You can either go to their website, Winnebago County Literacy Council, or just give them a call at the public library. Thank you for watching our show, and thank you for supporting your United Way.